Okay, you men.
Be quiet.
They're right there. We know they're here.
It's a
Redress. Commission. Did you hear something?
Redress right
I
down.
hear you.
All right.
At redress
radio
right
silence.
now.
Everybody, be quiet.
Redress right down.
You're gonna
I know they're around here.
Redress right down.
quiet. They're right
At
there.
Right,
redress
get
right
me
down.
back up.
Baby, please.
Redress right
I want to search this area.
Trouble.
Right here.
Redress right down. At redress right down.
I know you all hear that.
Redress
Find
right
them.
down.
Find them now.
Baby, up.
The legal. I want this whole area quarantined now.
At redress right
Nobody is to leave this area at all.
Would you shut that baby up?
I know you heard that.
Make that child be
Find
quiet.
them. Find them now.
Shut that baby up.
All voices done by the Legal Redress Commission. None of this material is copywritten. Feel free to use it as you please.
Pretty good, wasn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents, we're going to start this off with a little bit of I'm Still in Love. And actually, what I should be saying is I'm still awake. Although I went to sleep at about 4:45, woke back up at 8:30. Sorry, once the sun is up and it hits my eyes, can't go back to sleep. But I will fall asleep soon. I'm certain of that. Got a couple of things that I need to do today. So we're going to tell you what's on the agenda. And I am going to seek your help. Many of you, if I can help you in any way, I'll help. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what help I need. And so that you all know. Many of you know about the settlement that Barack Obama's administration, which they call it an administration, but we know they don't administer anything. Because they're under administrative law. That's why he has an administration. Okay. They came to this agreement for $25 billion. Now, the moment I heard that this agreement had been reached, I said, well, look at that. They just told us how much we can claim in a mortgage fraud issue. And remember, they only had 49 different complainants. No, it says 49 states, no 49 different complainants, because not all of the people in the state were complaining. So the only ones who were complaining were the attorney generals. So 49 different complainants. We plan on having 300 different complainants, all under one caption. But what's the issue? Well, let's find out. It says $25 billion agreement provides homeowner relief and new protections to stop abuses. Well, we noticed that the abuses haven't stopped, and I can prove that they haven't stopped. I'll let you know. Sorry, this is my song. One of my songs. Okay, Washington. The Attorney General Eric Holder, Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, Secretary Sean Donovan, Iowa's Attorney General, don't care who he is, and Colorado's Attorney General, don't care who he is, announces today that the federal government, this was in February, and 49 state attorneys generals have reached a landmark $25 billion agreement with the nation's 5 largest mortgage servicers to address the mortgage loan servicing and foreclosure abuses. The agreement provides substantial financial relief to homeowners and establishes significant new homeowner protections. Ladies and gentlemen, the agreement, the complaint, I'm pulling up, I'm downloading now, and all of the other instruments associated. But where did you go to get that? I typed it in here, and it pulled it up, and then I went here. Uh-oh, gotta go up. Uh-oh, it's not there no more. We're gonna have to refresh. Refresh. Okay, let's see. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you guys a heads up. Some of you do not have an idea about this lawsuit. You have no idea, no concept. It is called Mortgage Oversight, OVERSIGHT.com. I've been in love many times before. Drew Hill. Alright, a time or two. But in the end, I still chose you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tell you, report my loan issue. To click on report my loan issue once you get to mortgageoversight.com. And I've told many of you to do things before. Some of you did your due diligence, and you went and you did it. You contacted the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So now I'm going to tell you to contact the comptroller of the currency. Explain your issues. Do not explain the irrelevant stuff. Just the basic stuff. That they tampered with your note. That the accounting is way off. That you only owe, and tell them I only owe $6,000 on this loan. I sent them a presentment or a money order. I love the term money order or bill of exchange. And they have failed to credit my account accurately. They're trading my account on the market and receiving compensation and not giving me due consideration. Then you bring up the fact that the agreement has been breached and terminated, and yet they're still processing the paperwork as if it weren't. I did a Freedom of Information Act request, and they have ignored that request that is permissible under federal law. And I did a validation of debt as well as verification of debt request, and they've ignored it under the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act. And they're also violating the Gramm-Leach-Bailey Act, and they have failed to comply with the Helping Hands Act of 2009, otherwise known as the Housing Act of 2009. Those are the only issues you need to be bringing up. All the other convoluted, misguided stuff that you're hearing from the internet, it's not necessary, because each one of the ones that I just told you can be proven without you having to get a loan securitizer. Somebody to sit up there and scrutinize and analyze your loan. You don't need all of that. You just bring up the key points that we know that they violated. My internet is being taxed out right now, y'all, so I can't take you to that complaint section. See, these are still going on because they're still downloading, and I'm uploading the latest video, which, not that video, that's a different video. I'm uploading the latest video, which says it'll take another 15 minutes, 16. However, when I was uploading this video previously, it's called the Lawsuit for the Masses Update. When I was uploading that video, it was rejected. And it was a connection issue, so I had to do it all over again. So from 2 a.m. this morning until it's almost 12 o'clock. So for about 10 hours, it has taken, and by the time this video finishes, it will be 10 complete hours. It has taken that long to upload 4 videos that are less than 3 hours long. As a matter of fact, they're less than 2.5 hours long. 10 hours. So for those of you who think that this man is not doing everything he can to help all of you, I want you to rethink it. I want you to rethink it again. And I want you to rethink it again before you ever suggest anything different. All right, let's go ahead and read the rest. This is a long article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, at least I don't expect to. The unprecedented joint agreement is the largest federal-state civil settlement ever obtained and is the result of extensive investigations by the federal agencies, including the Department of Justice, HUD, and the HUD Office Inspector General. Okay? The state attorney general and the state banking regulators across the country. The joint federal-state group entered into the agreement with the nation's 5 largest mortgage servicers, Bank of America Corporation, JP Morgan, Chase & Company, Wells Fargo & Company, Citigroup Incorporated, and Ally Financial Incorporated, otherwise known as GMAC. This agreement, the largest joint federal-state settlement ever obtained, is the result of an unprecedented coordination among enforcement agencies throughout the government, said Attorney General Holder.
It holds mortgage servicers.
Uh-oh. Looks like my cat done bit my dog. All right. Well, they play underneath the door. There's, because of the amount of water they get here to keep the apartments from flooding, there's a little gap under the door. And so the doggy gets to put his paws somewhat under the door and the cat gets to scratch it. He'll learn, won't he? Oh, this is Deborah Cox. And this song is Nobody Is Supposed to Be Here. A very good song. Like this song a lot. Well, anyway, as a result of the unprecedented coordinated efforts among enforcement agencies throughout the government, Attorney General Holder says it holds mortgage servicers accountable for abusive practices and requires them to commit more than $20 billion towards financial relief for consumers. As a result, struggling homeowners throughout the country will benefit from reduced principals and refinancing of their loans. The agreement also required substantial changes to how servicers do business, which will ensure abuses of the past are not repeated. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they came to a settlement agreement. Let's breach that agreement. Let's prove that the mortgage servicers are continuing the same practices as they were prior to the agreement. There go voiding the agreement and reinstituting the suit. And some of you guys are a whole lot better at the legal things than I am. All we have to do is prove that these 5 entities who entered into this agreement breached the agreement. And we don't have to prove all 5 of them did it at once. We can go after one at a time. And we go back into the lawsuit and we ask for the suit to proceed. We ask for a reassessment. We ask for a default judgment against the banks in relation to the agreement that they entered into. Some of you are, and I promise you, I'm just now coming up with this. I never thought about this prior to now. But some of you are very good. Okay, some of you know exactly the angle I'm going at. Now, although I give people a lot of ideas, a lot of angles that they would not have thought of going at prior to my mentioning it, I don't ask for anything back. I just ask for you to let me know as to your successes and how you reach those successes. But people are not doing that. People are taking the ideas that I generate in these videos and they're capitalizing on it and they're not telling me anything. And you know how I feel about that? A lot of people have had success with the Our-Style money orders, and you know I've only had at the most 10 people respond back to me. As I told many of you, I just had a bank tell me that the Our-Style money orders, let me see if I can find that letter from that bank, because I got to respond back to this idiot. It says, notary protester documents sent as payment in full for the above referenced account are worthless, have no legal validity, and are not legitimate negotiable instruments. These paper documents are being returned to you because North Star does not accept currency and or documents that are not recognized and accepted as negotiable instruments by the United States Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve System. Doesn't matter about the Treasury and the Federal Reserve because they're not the ones who determine what currency is. And so they don't set the law. The laws are set by the legislative branch, Congress, and that's what I brought to their attention. What I sent them was one of the Our-Style Treasury money orders some time ago. North Star will not accept these documents as payment in full for the above referenced mortgage loan account. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the documents had nothing to do with payment in full. They had everything to do with prove that you are the holder in due course, give us a validation of debt, give us a certified statement of accounting signed by an officer of the corporation duly authorized to make such certifications as well as validations, and so forth, termination of agreement and so forth. But they wanted to incorporate everything as one document. It's okay. I don't mind them playing stupid games like that. Look, I anticipated them playing this stupid game. So notice what the last paragraph, and this is a one-page letter. The Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System append in an advisory dated January 28, 2004 that notary protester documents which are being presented to the borrower's banks, mortgage companies, finance companies, and other lending institutions as an attempt to satisfy it are not valid currencies in the United States and cannot be used to eliminate and satisfy debt. Since when does the Federal Reserve get to tell people what can be utilized in the United States to satisfy debt or not? Isn't it the laws of Congress that do that? So, as I brought to their attention, because I just sent them a registered letter, look, people, now we'll get you for mail fraud, because you received that presentment by way of registered mail. So now let's get your attention. We have a couple of judges that received items by way of registered mail, and we have let go of them. Oh, sorry, Tevin Campbell, and this is My Love Ain't Blind. Let me make sure this is My Love Ain't Blind. I think this is My Love Ain't Blind, and we'll continue. Oh, the only one for me. Sorry. Alright, let's continue. We will go after that judge and all of them in due course. Right now, it's not the time. We are more concerned about going after the banks. So this is what I need from all of you. We know the complaint that the state attorney generals have brought against the banks. Okay, what I need is for you all to send me a copy of the settlement agreement. That is what I need.
You need a copy of the settlement agreement?
That's what I need.
What settlement agreement?
If you don't know what settlement agreement I'm talking about, then don't worry about it. It has nothing to do with you. Whew. God, I'm so glad we got that off our chest. Okay, so in other words, if you don't know what I'm asking for, do not email me asking me what I'm asking for. Don't worry about it. You're okay. No, it's okay. We're going to let the least conscious adults handle the matter. Okay? In other words, if you don't know what I'm asking, you don't know what I'm talking about, then it's information that you have not studied, information that you are unaware of, information that you do not know about. And so we're going to keep it like that. What I need is a copy of the agreement. What I need is a copy of the issues. And if you have the documents, just highlight and take out the sections, including the case law that's in the documents, and just send it to me. And I will be forever grateful. You have my word on that. But it's now time for me to give the banks exactly what they're asking for. Like I said, $25 billion. They just set the benchmark for us. They have just sat up here and settled after the attorney generals have all done the research showing that their practices were illegal, but you notice they did not use the term illegal. Let's go back up and see what terms they used. This is what they do. They spoke about something practices. Where's that word at? Throughout the government attorney, it holds mortgage services accountable for abusive practices. Abusive practices. That is lawyer talk for, we're not going to really hold them liable. We're just saying it, okay? It doesn't really mean anything. We're just saying it. Just don't worry about it. We got this. No, you people are not intelligent enough to understand what the abusive practices was. So we're just going to highlight the same abusive practices that the attorney generals were going to highlight. Enough to make the banks realize that they had to settle. And who made them settle for $25 billion? I remembered that the Philip Morris or whatever tobacco company it was, the settlement for $260-some million? No, it wasn't 200. Yeah, was it $260-some million? And how the courts went and tried to overturn that, saying that it was excessive with the amount of money these companies are making into the banks made in 2011. $49 billion in profits on mortgages alone. $49 billion. I have to put you guys on hold. I have somebody. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Had to stop the video, but let's bring us back to where we left off. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue some of the pages. It's been about 40 minutes, so some of the pages have reloaded. And this is the Mortgage Settlement Oversight, the Offices of Mortgage Oversight at mortgageoversight.com.
Where can I find help?
Is the section it's under. Now, this is about the settlement, about the Office of Management Settlement Oversight, Office of Mortgage Settlement Oversight Board Members, settlement documents. That's what we're doing, settlement documents. Now, we're also pulling up the complaint, okay, because we are going to nitpick, piggyback, nitwhack, paddywhack the lawsuit. And we're going to do the same thing with the Spire Group lawsuit. We're not going to take everything. We're just going to take the meat of the lawsuit. If nobody wants the dessert. We just want the meat. Why? Because when we finish devouring the meat, then there can be excrement. Because that's what we're going to do all over the banks. That is our intention. That's why we're bringing this lawsuit now. That's why we're announcing it on the internet now. That's why we're letting them know we're coming. That's why we're telling them be ready. Because why? They can't throw the lawsuit out. Why can't they throw the lawsuit out? Because this settlement shows that it's a legitimate suit. The president acknowledged that it's a legitimate argument. The president of the United States of America says this is a legitimate argument. The Obama administration says this is a legitimate argument. The several state attorney generals say this is a legitimate argument. Can't throw it out. This is how we go at them. Now, this is Gerald, the late Gerald Levert, and his father, Eddie Levert. Gerald and Eddie Levert singing "The Wind Beneath My Wings." We're going to turn them up a little bit because I thought this was a really nice album between Gerald and his father. And a lot of the songs, some of them were remakes, but they were really done well. And I am sorry that Gerald is no longer with us, but hey, we still have the man's music, don't we? Alright. And because we're going to be reading this, I don't want, because they get a little bit, vocal in a moment, so I don't want them out-vocaling me, because I cannot be out-vocalized. My dog is barking. He's probably barking at the other cat that visits my home. So give me a second to go kill that noise. Yes, one of my neighbors was coming around my place, and the dog didn't appreciate it. So my dog barked at him to let me know that somebody was not where they were supposed to be. Oh, by the way, the neighbor's dogs bark all day long. My dogs, I do not train them to bark. I train them not to bark. Why? Because I don't want my dog just barking just because they feel like barking. I want them to bark when there is a reason to bark. And so he did his job. And so I'll give him the good boy treat and all that, as I told him a moment ago. Good boy. Torto! That's my doggy. Alright, let's see if we can continue, because there's a need to continue. This settlement oversight committee has been set up to monitor the parties in the national mortgage settlement to ensure that the banks comply with the settlement. Now, we know they're not complying. The parties did not create the monitor to assist individual homeowners or tenants with their mortgage or foreclosure problems, because there are too many organizations already in existence to help you with your specific issues. Please note that the monitor is not tasked to intervene with the servicer on your behalf. The Monitor and Office of Mortgage Settlement Oversight can assist you by providing contact information about organizations in your state, best able to help you depending on your situation, by filling out the simple form below. It says you will open a web page that has state-specific contact information of various organizations that may be able to help you. Your information also will help to monitor better understand how the services are treating their customers across the country. Now it says if a number of customers are experiencing similar problems with a particular servicer, this may represent a pattern or practice in violation of the agreement. With this information, the monitor can better enforce the mortgage servicing standards outlined in the agreement. The information you provide can make the settlement more meaningful for all homeowners, because the agreement gives the monitor additional enforcement tools when he identifies systematic violations. No, sorry, nobody wants the monitor to sit up here and ignore your issues. We don't want that, and we don't want no generalized form. We want somebody who has teeth. So who has teeth? Well, let's see if we can find the teeth person. StopFraud.gov. They have teeth. Mortgage loan and lending related fraud. Mortgage rescue and loan modification scams. Nope, not that one, because, well, there are a lot of those out there, and a lot of people have been scammed by people, so report those people. Reverse mortgage scams. People are doing that all the time. It says resources on how to protect yourself. Now, traditional mortgage fraud includes situations which the home buyer and or lender falsifies information to obtain a home loan. Home buyers should never sign mortgage documents that have incomplete or inaccurate information. Oh God. Deceptive mortgage ads, home equity conversion mortgages for seniors, mortgage assistance relief scam, reverse mortgage, get the facts. Federal Bureau of Investigation of Mortgage Fraud. You know what? Why not? That's their job, you know, or you can definitely call HUD, because most homes are HUD homes. But what we want to do is we want to contact as many people as possible regarding our issue. Has nothing to do with whether or not your mortgage documents had the correct or incorrect. It has everything to do with the issue that there was fraud. Okay? Just that simple. Okay. Report fraud. I want to report. Well, what do you want to report? Residential mortgage-backed securities fraud, RMBS. Because that's what the issue is. Student loan. You got an issue with a student loan? Report it. Get something on record. Mortgage fraud and loan scams. And commodities investment and securities fraud, which is exactly what it'll be under. But when you click on those, they're going to send you to another site. Okay? This is just me giving you some assistance. So stopfraud.gov is where this location is. And I've already clicked on some of the pages. Filing and forms. SEC forms. This is the SEC, sorry. Security Exchange Commission, or security SEC.gov. We started to name our LLC the Securities dang it, now I can't remember. Securities, like, it was going to be something like Security Acquisitions, but it was going to be SEC, but it was going to be, the wording was just going to be slightly different. And somebody told me they're not going to let you do that. You know. Now remember, the Security Exchange Commission is a corporation. Even though they have this corporate logo here, you see, anytime you see U.S. corporation, always, when it says United States all spelled out, then that's more than likely a government agency. But not always. The rules change. Don't know why they changed. Tender offer. Rights offering notification form. Well, what site is this? This is the SEC. Tendering offer, right offering notification form. SEC 2560 form. Interesting. Hey, this song is called Friends. And it's by a group called Houdini. And most of you may not appreciate rap, but this song, Friends, if you ever paid attention to the words, you will understand. And this, we even got Will Smith getting jiggy with it. I don't really like it, but I decided to leave it on here because it's a random mix. Okay? Now, let's continue, shall we? These are all SEC links from everything that we clicked on. And so we're not going to go over all the forms, but this is the Securities Act of 1933. You heard me mention before the Security Exchange Act of 1934, the Trust Indentured Act of 1939. All of these are on our site. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, I don't know what that act is, Law. So I think I'm going to have to download that act and put it on my site. Rules, regulations, schedules under the Securities Act and Exchange Act and the Trust Indentured Act. Rules and regulations? Well, we need them rules and regulations because we need to know what they need to be doing. Form. Securities Act. Forms. Exchange. Security Exchange Act. Forms. Trust Indentured Act. Forms. Beneficial ownership reporting. going private transactions. Tender offers. We might as well pull that one up. You know what? Let me stop that. Hold on. Stopped it too late. Let's open that up. Alright, we're going to open all those up and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to talk about it at another time. Report my loan abuse. Please note that the monitor is not tasked to intervene with the servicer, so they can't really help us. But what can help us? Understanding what the whole agreement was about. So let's continue that conversation. This historical settlement will provide immediate relief to homeowners, forcing banks to reduce the principal balance of many loans, not every loan. Refinance loans for underwater borrowers and pay billions of dollars to states and consumers, said HUD Secretary Donovan. Banks must follow the law. The HUD Secretary says that the banks must follow the law. Interesting. Any bank that hasn't done so should be held accountable and should take prompt action to correct its mistakes. Excuse me, if they're not following the law, it's not a mistake, it's a crime. You see how they're playing with words here? Why? Why are they afraid of the banks? And it will not end with this settlement. That's right, this settlement doesn't apply to all of us. One of the most important ways this settlement helps homeowners is that it forces the banks to clean up their acts and fix the problems uncovered during our investigations. And it does so by committing them to major reforms in how they service mortgage loans. These new customer service standards are in keeping with the Homeowners Bill of Rights, recently announced by President Obama. Well, let's look that up, y'all. The Homeowners Bill of Rights, because now we got something else that they are violating. Dang it, I cannot highlight this section. It's not allowing me to right click. See? Just this one page is not allowing me to right click. Okay. So I can't highlight and select. So let's do that. It's going to take me a moment because I type slow. Uh-oh. Let's just do Homeowner Bill of Rights. Didn't know. I heard them mention it, but I didn't pay attention to that stupidity. I don't pay attention to these idiots because that's what they are to me. But okay, we got the Homeowners Bill of Rights, okay? Recently announced by Obama, a single straightforward set of common sense rules that families can count on. How? If they violate the Bill of Rights, this monitored agreement holds the banks accountable. It provides badly needed relief to homeowners, and it transforms the mortgage servicing industry so now homeowners can be protected and treated fairly, said Iowa State Attorney General Miller.
This settlement has broad bipartisan support from the states because the attorney generals realized that the partnership with the federal agencies made it possible to achieve favorable terms and conditions that would have been difficult for the states or federal government to achieve on their own. Oh, God. Now, look, all of these are prepared statements. They make sure the wording is exactly right so that everybody is not offended.
The joint federal-state agreement requires servicers to implement comprehensive new mortgage loan servicing standards and to commit $25 billion to resolve the violations of state and federal law. Really? Let's hold them accountable. Let's not charge them $25 billion for violating the law. And remember, not all banks were included in this, which means all the other banks are still, and the servicers are still succumbing to the violations. These violations include servicing, use of robo-signed affidavits in foreclosure proceedings, deceptive practices in the offering of loan modifications, failure to offer non-foreclosure alternatives before foreclosing on the borrower with federally insured mortgages. Ladies and gentlemen, federally insured mortgages. Interesting, ain't it? That they brought it up at the same time somebody was bringing it to your attention? And filing improper documentation in federal bankruptcy court. Look, not improper documentation, fraudulent and perjury
perjured documentation, but they're not being held accountable. Let's say you go out there and do the same thing and watch. You go to jail. So what gave them a pass? A free pass. They'll swear up and down they didn't get a free pass. Go ahead and talk to any one of the attorney generals. Under the terms of the agreement, the servicers are required to collectively dedicate $20 billion towards various forms of financial relief to borrowers. At least $10 billion will go towards reducing the principal on the loan for the borrowers who, as of the date of the settlement, are either delinquent or in imminent risk of default and owe more on their mortgages than their homes are worth. Have any of you received any of that money? Of course not. At least $3 billion will go towards refinancing loans for borrowers who are current on their mortgages but who owe more on their mortgages than their homes are worth. Did any of you receive any of that? Of course not. The borrowers who meet basic criteria will be eligible for refinancing, which will reduce interest rates for the borrowers who are currently paying much higher rates and whose adjustable rate mortgages are due to soon rise to much higher rates. Up to $7 billion will go towards other forms of relief, including forbearance of principal of unemployed borrowers, anti-blight programs, short sales, and traditional assistance. Benefits is for service members who are forced to sell their homes at a loss as a result of the permanent change in situation order or station order, and other service members, military service members, and other programs. Because servicers who receive only partial credit for every dollar spent on some of the required activities, the settlement will provide direct benefits to the borrowers in excess of $20 billion. So, in other words, it's not $25 billion. Mortgage servicers are required to fulfill these obligations within 3 years. To encourage servicers to provide relief quickly, there are incentives for relief provided within 12 months. Servicers must reach 75% of their target within the first 2 years. Servicers that miss settlement targets and deadlines will be required to pay substantial additional cash amounts. In addition to the $20 billion in finance relief for borrowers, the agreement requires servicers to pay $5 billion in cash to the federal and state governments, which you'll never see. The $1.5 billion of this payment will be used to establish a borrower payment fund to provide cash payments to borrowers whose homes were sold or taken in foreclosure between January 2008 and December 31st, 2011, and who meet other criteria. The program is separate from the restitution program currently being administered by federal banking regulators to compensate those who suffered direct financial harm as a result of wrongful servicer conduct. Now, who are these regulators? This is what we need to find out. Okay? The program is separate from the restitution program currently being administered by federal banking regulators to compensate those who suffer direct financial harm as a result of the wrongful conduct. Borrowers will not release any claims in exchange for a payment. Okay, they have the right to continue to sue, so they do not waive any rights if they receive a payment. The remaining $3.5 billion. Now remember, this is separate. This part in the middle right here is separate. The remaining $3.5 billion of the $5 billion payment will go to state and federal governments to be used to repay public funds lost as a result of servicing misconduct and to fund housing counselors, legal aid, and other similar public programs determined by the state attorney general. The $5 billion includes $1 billion resolution of a separate investigation into fraudulent and wrongful conduct by Bank of America and various countrywide entities related to the origination and underwriting of the Federal Housing Administration FHA loans, insured mortgage loans. And insured mortgage loans. If your home is a FHA loan, a HUD loan, they are insured by FHA. Mortgage default insurance is what that's saying. They're not actually mentioning it, but ladies and gentlemen, that's all that is mortgage default insurance. Okay? and the systematic inflation of appraisal values concerning these loans from January 2003 until April 30th, 2009. The payment of $500 million is the first $1 billion. Of the first $1 billion will be deferred to partially fund the loan modification program for countrywide borrowers throughout the nation who are underwater in their mortgages. This investigation was conducted by the United States Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York and the Civil Division Commercial Litigation Branch of the Department of Justice, HUD, and HUD OIG, Office of Investigations. The settlement also resolves the investigation by the Eastern District of New York and the Special Inspector General for Troubled Asset Relief Program and the Federal Housing Finance Agency Office of the Inspector General's Office. Federal Housing Finance Agency, huh? Interesting. Into allegations that Bank of America defrauded the Home Affordable Modification Program. Of course they did. And anybody who thinks that they didn't do this on purpose is a fool. I mean, as an idiot. I mean, as a moron. I mean, you know what I mean. The joint federal-state agreement requires the mortgage services to implement unprecedented changes in how they service mortgage loans, handle foreclosures, and ensure accuracy of the information provided in federal bankruptcy court. The agreement requires new servicing standards, which will prevent foreclosure abuses of the past. I think we already read that. I don't know how I got back up there. Okay, let's skip down. Alrighty. The agreement would also provide enhanced protection for service members. Not concerned about service members right now, but you might be, so we want to have you Service Member Civil Relief Act. Okay? In addition, the 4 servicers that had not previously resolved certain portions of the potential Service Members Civil Relief Act liability have agreed to conduct full reviews overseen by the Justice Department Civil Rights Division. That is whom you also can contact, the Justice Department Civil Rights Division, to determine whether or not the service members were foreclosed on in violation of the Service Member Civil Relief Act of Jan 2006. The servicers also have agreed to conduct a review overseen by the Civil Rights Division to determine whether any service member from 2008 to the present was charged interest in excess of 6% on their mortgage after a valid request to lower the interest rate in violation of the Service Member Civil Relief Act. Servicers will be required to make payments to any service member who was a victim of a wrongful foreclosure or who was wrongfully charged a higher interest rate. This compensation for service members is in addition to the $25 billion settlement. Okay, let's continue. Because it's all credit, people, they're not... $25 billion is not even a settlement. It's all credit. Remember, they get to create money out of thin air. It's all credit. So they're not losing anything. It's all credit. The agreement will be filed as a consent judgment in the United States District Court, District of Columbia. That's where we're going. Now, you notice it says District of Columbia. It doesn't say the United States Federal District Court. Let me see if I have one of those envelopes here from the Federal District Court, which says United States Federal District Court on it, and not United States District Court. There are 2 different courts, people. Gotta understand. But most people don't understand, so they don't even overstand. They don't even overstand. They just stand. Okay, I'm pulling out some other envelopes that I need, but I'm just looking for one from the United States Federal District Court that says United States Federal District Court on it. It's going to take me a minute because I don't think I have any of those envelopes up here because it wasn't my intention to keep them up here. Okay, give me a moment. I got to go and step across the room for a second. Just remembered I was looking at a letter from the state of New Mexico, and it says, oh, well, it does say the United States District Court. Let's see what it says when I open it. In the United States District Court for the District of New Mexico. So they don't use the word federal in their paperwork. That's interesting. Oh, this is sent to Brett, son of Isaac, of the family of Jones. Oh, God. Yes. I'll get their attention in a moment. I'm not too concerned about him. I asked him for reconsideration because he denied our claim in our removal to federal district court. And then he told me he was sanctioning me. You know, I sent that fool $4 billion worth of payment for the sanction on one of my money orders. And now all we need to do is get an accurate accounting for that case. If they monetized any of those payments, that means that they owe me a refund for overpayment. So now I get to contact the IRS and let them know that I have sent in payments to each of these entities and they have failed to pay back. That's the other thing that many of you can do who've done the Our-style money orders. As long as you made a copy of it, you have a copy of it, now you can report this to the IRS because they failed to do the taxes. Remember, they're responsible for the taxes. Let's continue, shall we? The agreement involves certain violations of civil law based on mortgage loan servicing activities. Ladies and gentlemen, when you violate a law, no, it says certain violation of civil law. These are criminal violations, but they don't tell you that. See, these are not violations where you only get 6 months in jail because they involve a crime of thousands of hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. So these are not just basic civil violations, but they wrote this way on purpose because they didn't want you to know that these are criminal violations. The agreement does not prevent state and federal authorities from pursuing criminal enforcement actions. Didn't I just say that? And I haven't read this in advance. Related to this and other conduct by the services, the agreement does not prevent the government from pursuing or punishing wrongful securitization conduct that will be the focus of a new residential mortgage-backed securities working group. The United States also retains its full authority to recover losses and penalties caused to the federal government when a bank fails to satisfy underwriting standards on the government-insured or government-guaranteed loans. I know somebody keeps talking about all loans are insured by the federal government. The agreement does not prevent any action by individual borrowers who wish to bring their own lawsuits. State attorney generals also preserve, among other things, any claims against MERS, Mortgage Electronic Registration System, and all claims brought by borrowers. See, you get to file a claim with your state attorneys general. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of you, I'm going to ask that you file a claim with your state attorney generals about the issues that I stated at the beginning of this video. I would state them again, but it's redundant. Please go back to the beginning of the video and listen to the 4 main issues, including the fact that your home was backed by mortgage default insurance, and you've heard them mention it at least 3 times, and that the conduct of the banks to not provide you the information was violation of federal law, which are criminal activities. Okay? You don't have to demand anything, just bring it to their attention. That's all you're required to do, is bring it to their attention. That's the law. Investigations were conducted by the United States Trustee Program of the Department of Justice. United States Trustee Program? Excuse me? The United States Trustee Program? Who are they the trustees for? Imagine that. They're the trustees for you. HUD, OIG Department, Office of Investigations. HUD's FHA, Family Housing Administration, State Attorney General's Office, and state banking regulators from throughout the country. The United States Attorney's Office of the Eastern District of New York, the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Colorado, we don't need to read all those names. The Department of the Treasury. You mean the Department of the Treasury also sued the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau? The Justice Department Civil Rights Division, the Board of Governors for the Federal Reserve System, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the Department of Veteran Affairs, and the United States Department of Agriculture made critical contributions. Why would the Department of Agriculture, the USDA, be a part of this?
the comptroller of the currency. Interesting that all of these agencies are part of this, and they knew. And the fact is, they were not litigating for you. They were only trying to get a settlement to say that they're doing something. For more information about mortgage servicing settlement, go to thenationalmortgagesettlement.com. It doesn't let me do that. Let's see if it'll let me do that. See, nope, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Oh wait, yes I do. I do want to do that. We're going to let it go there. No, don't go there. We do this. Copy. Then we go back. This is Citizen Cope. Okay, read this last paragraph and we be aight. Aight. I had a friend that I grew up with in high school. I used to always use one phrase all the time. And I forgot what it was because I always come up with these phrases. And many of you will hear me say the same words often because that's what I do. And so he would go, ain't no thing. And he made that being his phrase. That was going to be his catchphrase for a couple of months. And so we started doing a catchphrase, and we would hold on to our catchphrase every month. The unique thing about catchphrases is that we wanted everybody to catch on, and that's exactly what happened. We would say it so often, other people would repeat it right after us. I remember when some of us would call people a truck. I played basketball, and we would call the people who play basketball a truck. And so I would give a definition to what a truck was. So I tell people, you ever seen a tractor trailer with 3 trailers attached to the back? So, for so long, what I would do is I would tell people, just imagine that truck is 25 different colors. And that it's got black smoke spewing out of the tailpipes. And then you have a candy apple red Corvette or Porsche passing alongside of it with alloy rims. And I would ask them, which one looks better? And of course they would say the Porsche or the Corvette. And I say, you're a truck. And that's how I would end the conversation. Alright, let's go on with this. The Joint Federal-State Agreement is part of an enforcement effort to Barack Obama's Financial Fraud Enforcement Task Force. That's, for those of you who weren't paying attention, that's these guys. Financial Fraud Enforcement Task Force. Okay? President Obama established the Interagency Financial Fraud Protection Enforcement Task Force to wage an aggressive, coordinated, and protective effort to investigate, prosecute financial crimes. The task force includes representatives from a broad range of federal agencies, regulatory authorities, inspector generals, and state and local law enforcement who, working together, bring to bear the powerful array of criminal and civil enforcement resources. The task force is working to improve efforts across the federal executive branch and with state and local partners to investigate and prosecute significant financial crimes, ensure just and effective punishment for those who perpetrate financial crimes, combat discrimination in the lending and financial markets, and recover proceeds of victims of financial crimes. For more information, go to stopfraud.gov. Ladies and gentlemen, they're not doing anything. Because if they really wanted to stop this, the TARP money would have went to the homeowners and not to the banks. Because you give the TARP money to the homeowners, the banks still would have gotten the money. And nobody paid attention to that when that idiot and those other idiots signed that into law. Toxic asset relief, my anus. Sorry. Sometimes it's just so irritating. We don't need that anymore. Let's see. Hey. Have you finished? I think it's finished, Mama. Well, this is the servicing settlement PDF. So we're going to let it pull up so that you can see it. Got to reload. We're uploading a video, but no, we're not uploading a video anymore, so this should have pulled up. Don't oops me. Pull up the site. I won't. I ain't playing that. Uh-oh. Hold up. Get rid of that. And get that.
That's what we should be doing. Homeowners Bill of Rights. That was my Yahoo search that didn't go through. Deadline is approaching. January 18, 2013. Payments to borrowers who lost their home to foreclosure. Ladies and gentlemen, we need you to read this when you get the opportunity. Oh, wrong one. Okay. In order for you to become part of this settlement, and remember, if you receive monies from this settlement, even if it's a small sum, you do not waive any rights to sue. Let's get rid of this one. See how we have 2 of everything? Let's go ahead and get rid of some of these. Should not be, although I think Tevin is okay, was okay. I don't want to listen to him that much. And every time I notice that, I'll take care of it. This is the fact sheet, people. And now I get to file a claim against Wells Fargo. And what I'm going to do for all of my mortgagees, I'm going to let all of you know that you also have to file a claim. So you'll be getting an email from me if you haven't already gotten the email. But let me make sure you understand. You will file a claim. It's not an option. Okay? You must have your personalized claimant ID number, which is located on the notice letter or claim form you received to submit your claim form online. Wait a minute. You can now access secured claim filing site where you submit your claim form. Okay? Now, guess what? About the settlement, Help for Borrowers News. It says that you must have a claim number where you can submit your claim form. Oh, okay, this is what's going to happen. What we'll do is we'll let this site pull up, because that's what it's telling us. It wants to pull itself up off the flow, off the pavement, off the flow mat. Now, this song by Tevin Campbell, he's playing the beat in the background. It's called I Need You, and he's playing, come on and do it, do it, do it till you're satisfied, whatever it is, gotta do it. Okay, that's the beat in the background. See, some of you are picking up on it now. Alright, we're going to let this pull up, and then we're going to see exactly what it's talking about. You know what oh, okay, it did pull up on the second page. And we're going to pull up the claim form site as well, so we have both of them, not just one of them. Now let's get back to this. Mortgage servicing settlement, financial relief for homeowners. Okay, and this is if your house was foreclosed on between 2008 and 2011, I believe. And it lets you know how they supposedly have broke down the numbers and how they're going to break you down. New servicing standards. Stop many past foreclosure abuses. That's why I need a copy of the actual agreement. Okay, this is just a fact sheet. It's basically the same information I just read. See, FHA loans for insurance review in the future. Borrowers' claims. The settlement does not prevent any claims by individual borrowers who wish to bring their own lawsuit. Okay? Purdy. That's Purdy. Okay, we'll try to put that up on the site. Let's bring this up a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on. We got to bring it down a little bit, just a little bit. All right. Welcome to the National Mortgage Settlement Claims Filing Site. Choose how to file. If you decide to file online, you will need a customized claimant ID number from the top of the letter you receive. Filing a claim in this settlement is designed to be an easy process. You should not need to pay anyone to file a claim. If you have questions or need help filing your claim, you may call the settlement administrator toll free at 866-430-8358. Once again, that's toll free 1-866-430-8358.
We just listen to friends. Nope. We just listen to friends. Not going to listen to friends twice. As a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's change the rotation. Hey, I am the world's greatest. Ain't I? Don't you agree? My mama didn't agree, but I agree. Every time I look in the mirror, I say, you know what? You the greatest. I love you, Charlie Brown. All right. So, again, the same information. Claim form instructions. Choose how to file. If you decide to file online, you will need the customized ID number to put on the claim form. You should not need anyone to help you. Review your name, address, and contact information is correct. Determine your eligibility. Review each of the 3 statements and check the boxes that may apply. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Financial hardship, loan modification problems, foreclosure errors. Let's go under foreclosure errors. Sign the form. Click here to download to file your claim online. Okay, we clicked there, but that's not where we were supposed to click, was it? Nope, it's not. But we did it anyway. We don't want to file our claim online. It has to be filed by January 18, 2013. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to tell you to go here. National Mortgage Settlement Claim.com. And it ain't going to hurt you. You got a full month and 10 days to do this. So why not, people? What is it going to hurt? Oh, I just realized this is the instrumental. I'm that up on the sky. I'm that mountain creek up high. I'm the greatest. The world's greatest. I'm that little bit of hope when my back's against the road. Look, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that this man wrote You Are Not Alone, the song that Michael Jackson sung, and that song went #1 within a week's time of the video being introduced, the man has talent. But when you go back and you watch the Boondocks and you watch the R. Kelly trial, you come to see that he had a lot more talent, you know, because it's not his fault. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, you just got to go back and watch the R. Kelly trial, first season of the Boondocks, and I think it was like the 3rd episode. Sorry, I'm a Boondocks fan. You're a Boondocks fan? The uncensored version Boondocks fan. No, you can't be that. Well, technically, that was the only one that I had available to me. Oh, is there a censored version? Yes, the ones that came on Cartoon Network or whatever place it came on at first. Oh, well, I didn't know until after I seen the whole thing. Now, online claim form. If you decide to file online, you will need the customized claim number. Enter the claimant ID. Okay, in order for us to not file online, we're going to have to file by calling that number, because they don't give us any other option. No address, no nothing. Now, what's the disclaimer? This site is hosted and maintained by the National Mortgage Settlement Administrator. The settlement is supervised by the Attorney General's Office and the Executive Committee that negotiated the settlement. View the privacy policy statement. Okay? That's it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have done my due diligence. I have brought this information to your attention. I have told you where you can go to try to get some sort of redress regarding your issues. But I'm going to try to say this again because I do need your help. I have a copy of the complaint. It's downloading now. But I need... technically, we have the basic information of the settlement. But I need the specific issues, the case law associated with each one of the attorney generals that they filed against this bank. Okay, the complaint is going to be large, so if you're sending it to me via email, you know the email address, redressucc@gmail.com. Okay, and finally,
the mortgage action suit that we're bringing forth, we should have it mostly completed by the 29th. That is our hope. It's that time of year, so I can't put that much pressure on individuals helping me to draft this. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that if you want to be a part of it, go back and review the videos on the mass action lawsuit and the update on the mass action lawsuit. And understand that you are to send any and all notifications and notices to us about your participation to redress.right@gmail.com. So you do understand. Redress period right@gmail.com. Just that simple. Alright, it is the fact that you have to go back and watch those 2 videos, they're not long, in order to understand what the details are. But we're letting you know exactly where we're going. We're letting them know exactly where we're going. We're not hiding anything. And the unique thing is, part of my audience is those entities, those agencies, those individuals who work for those entities, because they have to monitor these videos to see what we're talking about. Isn't that a shame? So let's give them something to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to come into your homes this afternoon, but I need to go lay down. It is 1 o'clock, and I only had 4 hours of sleep in the last 29 hours. Amazing, ain't it? So I'm about to go try to get some rest. You all have a very good day. Have a good night. But remember, this information is not for me. It's for all of us. I'll speak to you all later. Goodbye.
The legal redress commission. 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 Legal redress commission.